We're live. We're live. We're live. It's a brand new day. Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is Wednesday. We're going to be doing testing today. The reason we're doing this live stream is to allow us to make sure the closed captioning works, and it looks like it does. We've had some requests to ensure our closed captions are fully functional on our live streams, and in order to be fully accessible and to allow for everyone possible to get the weather information, we had to go through and try to figure out a few settings and get all this done correctly. But based off the fact the closed captions seem to be working, it does look like we have fulfilled that need and that technological difficulty. So that is good news. That's good news indeed, which means yippee-ki-yay. Let's talk about the weather today. So we'll cut this part out. We'll say it's okie dokie. Someone's about to walk in the front door. Hi, Jerry. You're live. Come on, Jerry. You're fine.
I'm not live now. What's up?
Poor Jerry. So, yeah, we're doing this live informally to, test some things, make sure the closed captioning is working. It's a setting we had to go in and dig out to configure, and it looks like it is working. So I'm going to go ahead and make sure we're not getting any audio feedback. And let's get started. So, guess what? From about here on out, everything you've seen the first minute will go away in the post-editing, but for now, those y'all watching, hey, I hope you're having a good day. All right. The snow is gone and melting away, yet it may freeze up again tonight. Uh-oh. Not good. Hooray. I don't know. But the weather's quiet. It's warming up. Let's talk about when storms may return in this Hump Day edition of the Texas Weather Roundup. All right, good afternoon. It's Wednesday, the 22nd of January, 2025. I'm Texas Storm Chasers Baldy-in-Chief David Reimer. We are doing a live Texas Weather Roundup today because, well, why not? It lets us test out a few things and make sure things are working okie dokie. The winter storm is gone, and it was historic for parts of the Gulf Coast. Maybe not Texas, but Louisiana, Mississippi, Alabama, and Florida all observed 4 to 12 inches of snow, something that hasn't been seen in generations for most of them, and in fact broke records going back to the 1800s. Very impressive and a very special day for them, even if it is significantly impacting travel. But it'll be remembered for decades to come. Us in Texas, well, the winter storm is gone, the snow's melting, but we're not completely done in terms of having to deal with impacts. As we go into tonight, temperatures across the state are going to fall below freezing. Any water slush, melted snow on roads will ice up, so keep an eye out for black ice on bridges, overpasses tonight. Otherwise, maybe a few showers going into Thursday afternoon across the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas, the coastal bend, and maybe parts of the southern Rio Grande Plains. The rest of the state, it's going to be a nice Thursday. And for Friday, well, guess what? Severe clear is in the forecast as we get to enjoy a beautiful Friday and end to the work week. So dry mostly for the next several days. However, that brings us back to a topic we so love to discuss, fire weather. The Texas A&M Forest Service for today, at least the rest of the afternoon, moderate to high to locally very high fire danger, the northwestern two-thirds of the state of Texas. Thursday, moderate to locally high fire danger across the state. As we get into Friday, things could be more active across the Panhandle, West Texas, Northwest Texas, the Big Country, Permian Basin, the Concho Valley, Hill Country, the Big Bend, the Guadalupe Mountains, the Trans-Pecos, the Davis Mountains, into the Big Borderland, Big Bend, where we could see very high fire danger return thanks to above average temperatures, sunny skies, low humidity, dormant winter fuels, and, well, spring-like weather in January. Let's take a look. The Long-Range American Weather Model, the Global Forecast System. This will take us through the remainder of Friday. Well, you can see as we get into Saturday and Sunday, we're going to start seeing an uptick in rain chances across the eastern third of the state, especially getting into Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening. Now, this isn't expected to be winter weather, ice, sleet, snow, and severe thunderstorms are not expected, But we could see some locally heavy rain at times across the eastern half of the state Saturday afternoon, Saturday night, through a good portion of Sunday. In fact, you can see a cold front will move through the northern half of the state, notarized by those northern wind barb arrows of doom. So, southern half of Texas, looking warm this weekend into early next week. Northern half of the state going to be much colder, with a unsettled weather pattern developing with multiple chances of precipitation as we go through early next week. You could see Saturday, Sunday, maybe a bit of a lull Monday, followed by another upper-level storm system coming into play Tuesday into Wednesday. Now, that doesn't mean we're going to have severe weather or winter weather, but rain chances, at least, are looking pretty good. Here's forecast rain totals taking us from this evening through 6 p.m. Central Time, Monday, the 27th of January. You can see we're currently expecting 1 to 2 inches of rain. The Brazos Valley, East Texas, Southeast Texas, the Golden Triangle, with up to a tenth to a quarter of an inch back west to Interstate 35, from Sherman to Dallas, Waco to Killeen, Austin, down through areas east of San Antonio to Victoria, points east, and maybe down in the Rio Grande Valley. The rest of the state not expected to see anything above a tenth of an inch of rain through Monday afternoon. And we do note this will all be liquid rain. We're going to be far too warm for any winter mischief this time around through Monday evening. High temperatures over the next several days. Well, let's start off with lows tonight. It's going to be cold again across the state. We're going to fall below freezing with teens, but mostly 20s across Texas. The only ones who won't be below freezing tonight, the immediate Texas Gulf Coast, and those of you down in the Rio Grande Valley where temperatures will top out in the mid to upper 30s. Everyone else will be down into the 20s, teens in the Panhandle in West Texas, along with the higher elevations around Marfa and Alpine in the Davis Mountains. We may also see some teens in far southeast Texas where any snowpack remains. You can see that'll be much more common across southern Louisiana. As we go into Thursday proper, highs looking at 30s up in the Panhandle in West Texas, with 40s and 50s, the southeastern 75% of the state, maybe a 60-degree reading or two around Laredo de Del Rio down towards Zapata. So we'll be definitely much warmer than we were most of last week, but still not the above-average temperatures you've come to expect this winter. Friday morning's low temperatures back in the teens and 20s across most of the state, with the only folks not dropping below the 32-degree freezing line will be the Rio Grande Valley. As we go into Friday afternoon, highs a little bit warmer across the state, especially the Panhandle and West Texas. We'll have highs mostly in the upper 40s and 50s, with a few low 60s across South Texas, the Hill Country, and Central Texas. So again, it's going to be a nice way to end the week. Warmer, definitely much warmer than last week and this past weekend. As we take a look into Saturday morning, I'm not using a noise cancellation filter this time around, so temperatures as we go into Friday night, Saturday morning, we'll see mostly 20s and 30s across the state, with 40s in the Rio Grande Valley, South Texas, and the immediate Texas Gulf Coast. So the clear picture here is we're going to mostly all fall below freezing nightly going through the weekend. And I'll give you a hint, that'll be the case as we get into early next week as well, especially across the northern half of Texas. Highs on Saturday, you could see crash of the cold front making its happy self known in the Panhandle, with temperatures making it, at least it'll be out of the 20s, but look, highs still in the 30s. Otherwise, we're expecting 50s, 60s, and 70s across the rest of Texas Saturday afternoon. Enjoy it, because the cold front's coming on in, and that's going to bring an end to that spring-like weather for a good part of the state. As we go into Sunday, you can see the northern half of Texas back in winter's domain, winter's grasp, highs in the 30s and 40s, 50s along the Interstate 20 corridor, roughly from Shreveport, Louisiana through Marshall, Longview, DFW, 40s in the big country, but back up in the 50s down in the Permian Basin to the I-10 split, 65 in El Paso, 80 in McAllen Sunday afternoon, 37 up in Dumas, northwest of Amarillo. So pick your season and plan your travels accordingly. As we take a look at the Longer Range Climate Prediction Center outlook, well, it's nice to see we don't have any sort of spooky orange drought colors of doom here. We are anticipating the potential for a wet pattern setting up as we get into the final days of January and probably into the early part of February. We're going to remain active weather-wise, so that's good. We'd rather have some rain and precipitation versus, drought building in. And then the temperature outlook, well, that is the outlook from yesterday. I'll just show you the outlook for today. It's really not all that much different, to be honest with you. You can see we have about an equal shot or opportunity of near average temperatures, meaning it may be colder, it may be warmer, and then we do have below average temperatures expected the western third of Texas into the southwestern United States as we go through, well, late next week into the first days of January. So the overall pattern here is expected to support precipitation chances next week, but we're not seeing any indications of any sort of crazy severe weather events in terms of spinny doom land, or vice versa, nothing that screams holy moly winter storm, crazy cold Arctic outbreak. So we may just be in that fine middle ground for once where, it's cool, but not super cold and not super hot, and off and on rain chances as we go through the weekend into next week, especially across the eastern half of Texas. I want to thank you for joining us live this afternoon. Again, we did this Texas Weather Roundup live. We wanted to test out a few things. We had a few notes about closed captioning issues during our live streams during the past couple of weeks, and we wanted to make sure we were able to resolve that. So today, if you're watching this video live and after the fact, you should be able to click on that closed caption button watching us here on YouTube, and you should be able to receive closed captions in real time during our videos. So going forward, that is not going to be an issue any longer. You'll be able to read or listen to our severe weather coverage, winter weather coverage, whatever coverage we might have to do, because Mama Nature likes to throw temper tantrums. As always, you can get your local weather forecast, interactive weather radar, and more in the free Texas Storm Chasers mobile app, and you can find us on the web, texasstormchasers.com. We'll be back bright and early. We'll have a Texas Weather Roundup bright and early Thursday morning, I promise, and we'll keep you updated on how rain chances are looking over the weekend into early next week. Y'all have a great, amazing rest of your Wednesday. Stay warm. Remember, watch out for black ice tonight on roads as any melted snow refreezes. And as always, God bless.